Is Japan's young generation coming to an end? In the Tokyo morning, the train arrived on time as usual, the doors opened, people silently entered, and everything on the platform appeared normal. But right amidst this perfect silence, Japan's future was slowly disappearing. The laughter of a child, which was once heard in streets and school grounds, has now become a rare sound in many areas. The question is frightening. Is Japan not just growing old, but becoming empty from the inside? Then came a government statistic, and the whole world looked at Japan with a new fear. For the first time in 42 years, the population of Japanese citizens fell below 120 million. But this was not just a number. The biggest question is why one of the world's most developed, safest, and most technologically advanced countries is losing its children. And the real answer is far deeper than just the birth rate. By January 1, 2026, the number of Japanese nationals in Japan stood at around 119.74 million. Compared to the previous year, this was a decline of 0.76%, meaning nearly more than 900,000 fewer people. In 2009, Japan's population was at its peak. Since then, the graph has continuously trended downwards for 17 consecutive years. An entire generation grew up, but the country's population line was not ready to bounce back up. This decline does not look like a war, a pandemic, or a sudden disaster. It is a crisis unfolding in slow motion, where every year the country is becoming a little smaller, a little older, and a little more restless. Japan's streets are still clean, trains are punctual, technology is dazzling, but behind the data hides an emotional emptiness. The real story begins with this very emptiness. In 2025, births in Japan were only around 671,236. This was the lowest annual birth figure since 1899. The total fertility rate also dropped down to 1.14. To keep a population stable, a fertility rate of approximately 2.1 is required. Japan is far below that. This means that every new generation is becoming smaller than the previous generation. But this is not just a shortage of children. In the same year, deaths reached nearly 1.589 million. That means fewer births, more deaths, and in the middle, the entire society is under pressure. In a country, a child is not just a family member. They are a future worker, future taxpayer, future consumer, future caregiver, and future citizen. When babies decrease, the entire system begins to tremble. Now the question arises, why are young Japanese people not having children? Do they not like family? Have they become selfish? Or has the system made starting a family very difficult? Imagine a couple living in a small apartment in Tokyo. Both work jobs, rent is high, the commute is long, the office is demanding, and the future is uncertain. For them, a child is not just a joy, but a major financial decision. Whether they will get daycare or not, whether the salary will be sufficient or not, whether a career break will cause harm or not, every question turns into fear. Japan's work culture has been intense for a long time. Late office hours, pressure, discipline, and company loyalty squeezed personal life. People return home, but their energy is left behind in the office. For women, this struggle is even harder. If they want to build a career, motherhood has to be delayed. If they choose motherhood, the fear of promotions, income, and workplace acceptance stands in front of them. The government introduces policies, companies talk about being family-friendly, but society's habits do not change quickly. And in a demographic crisis, habits are the slowest moving thing. Marriage is also deeply connected to the birth rate in Japan. When marriage is delayed, children are also delayed. And when the delay becomes too long, many people step away from that path altogether. This is why the population crisis in Japan is not visible only in maternity wards. It is also visible in dating culture, the housing market, office culture, and loneliness. Many young people want marriage, but they do not actively look for a partner. The fear is of rejection, there is a lack of time, and modern life has made people feel lonely despite being connected. This is where an unexpected twist comes into the story. A technology powerhouse like Japan is now using AI to find life partners in an attempt to increase the population. The Tokyo government launched an AI-powered matchmaking app named Tokyo en Musubi. Through this app, which started in September 2024, 265 couples have gotten married. 760 couples are in serious relationships. Hearing this sounds hopeful, but the real question stands right there. Can a few hundred marriages fill Japan's gap of hundreds of thousands of births? This app is not just a dating platform. It includes conditions like proof of being legally single, an online interview, and serious intent. That means the government is viewing romance not as casual but like a demographic mission. However, AI can match two people, it cannot make life easy. The app can open the door, but society will have to provide housing, job security, childcare and trust. Japan's problem is so deep that it will not be solved by technology alone. Because the birth rate is ultimately not a question of software but of confidence. When the young generation does not find the future reliable, it postpones family. And when millions of people postpone together, the age structure of a nation changes. Japan is now included among the world's oldest societies. The median age is said to be around 50 years, and after Monaco, Japan ranks among the countries with the oldest populations. The meaning of this is simple: fewer workers, more retirees. A smaller tax base, a larger pension bill. Busy hospitals, empty schools. This very demographic math is keeping the government awake at night. A young worker no longer earns just their own salary. They indirectly also carry the burden of healthcare, pensions, and public services for the elderly. If the working age population keeps shrinking, more weight falls on every young shoulder. And when the weight increases, young people become even more afraid of family decisions. This is where a dangerous cycle forms. Fewer children reduce future workers. Fewer workers increase pressure on the economy. When pressure increases, young couples delay children. For decades, Japan taught efficiency to the world. Fast trains, precise factories, clean cities, disciplined systems. But now that very country is grappling with a question that efficiency alone cannot solve. A robot can help in elderly care. Automation can run a factory. AI can increase office productivity. But a robot does not make a baby, and automation does not give the warmth of a family. In rural Japan, this crisis is visible even more clearly. In many villages, schools are closing, shops are empty, and in festivals, elderly volunteers are seen instead of children. When the last school in a town closes, it is not just the building that gets locked. The future of that community also quietly closes down, as if forever. The blackboard remains in the classroom, the desks remain, the playground remains, but the voices of children leave. This is the most emotional phase of the decline. And then comes the second phase: immigration. Japanese citizens are decreasing, but foreign residents are increasing. The number of foreign residents in Japan has reached over 4 million. This number is a major cultural shift for Japan. For a long time, Japan was known for its homogeneity and controlled immigration. Now the need for workers is gradually opening it up. Cities like Tokyo, Osaka and Saitama are absorbing foreign workers and students. In the ski resort areas of Hokkaido as well, the foreign population has grown rapidly. However, immigration is not a solution just of numbers. Challenges of language, culture, belonging, rights and acceptance also come along. Inviting someone is easy, adopting them is difficult. Still, Japan's choices are becoming limited. If domestic births do not increase, the labor shortage will have to be managed with foreign workers, automation or both. Factories need hands, hospitals need caregivers, hotels need staff, and elderly homes need support. In an aging society, care becomes the largest economy. Yet, the care sector also demands humans. To give medicine to an elderly person, a machine can help, but to reduce loneliness, a human presence is required. This is Japan's contradiction. Technology is in the future, while the population is moving toward the past. The city is smart, but the family structure is fragile. The government has adopted many paths like child allowances, childcare support, parental leave, and work-life balance. However, people's personal decisions do not change immediately through policies, because having a child happens not by looking at subsidies, but by looking at trust. A couple becomes ready only when they feel that life will not fall apart after the arrival of a child. Housing should be affordable, jobs stable, childcare accessible, and workplaces must not punish parents. Only then does family planning become hope, not a burden. Japan's young generation often wants a family, but they do not get the right conditions. This might not be an unwillingness but an uncertainty. A man returns home late from the office, the house is small, savings are limited, and there is fear of future inflation. He wants a child but asks, will I be able to give them a good life? A woman is advancing in her career, but fears getting thrown off track after motherhood. She wants a family, but asks, will the system accept me back? These private questions combine to form a national crisis. Behind the line going down in the population graph, millions of personal doubts lie hidden. Now this story is no longer just Japan's. Countries like South Korea, China, Italy, Spain and Singapore are also grappling with the low birth rate. The more expensive and competitive developed life becomes, the more complex making a family becomes. Modern success sometimes comes at the cost of the future generation. Japan is a warning trailer for the world. It is showing that if a society becomes very efficient but also emotionally exhausting, people begin to postpone the future. There is a lesson in this for a young country like India as well. Today there is a youth advantage, but if jobs, housing, education costs and work-life balance deteriorate, even the demographic dividend can become a pressure. Japan is not coming to an end. It is changing. But this change will not be easy, because it will have to rebalance its economy, culture and immigration thinking all over again. The biggest turning point is that the population crisis is less of a biological story and more of a social design story. People can have children, but life with children must feel possible. When children decrease, the market also changes. Toy stores reduce, elder care grows more. Schools decrease, demand for hospitals and care homes increases. The economy begins to turn from young dreams toward old age support. Products, services, housing and healthcare are all redesigned according to the age structure. However, forming a market does not fill an emotional emptiness. Society does not just need consumers, it needs continuity. There must be someone to carry forward stories, language and memories. In a festival, when the sound of children's drums decreases, the GDP report does not cry. But the community understands that something has changed very quietly. Going below 120 million is frightening because it is a psychological line. It tells that the decline is no longer a suspicion of the future, but a reality of the present. Tokyo's train will arrive on time tomorrow as well. Offices will open, screens will glow, robots will work, and Japan will still appear organized. However, if the laughter of children on the platforms keeps decreasing, a silence will always echo inside that perfection. This silence is Japan's biggest warning. Because countries do not end suddenly. First, their voice changes. Schools go silent, playgrounds become empty, and families postpone the future a little further. Japan's story tells us that being advanced is not enough. If life becomes so expensive, lonely and exhausting that people fear building a future, then even the most developed country starts growing old from the inside.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.